Guys, I have something to tell you.
Oh no.
Last night, I had my awakening.
It's like sexual awakening, or?
Well, aside from that, I have powers now.
Oh.
Yeah. Every time you don't look at me, I become invisible.
That makes so much sense.
I mean, try it. Watch. Just go. Look away.
Holy hell.
Did it work? Do you see me?
I can't see you.
Right?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Cool, right? Isn't that fucking sweet? I'm invisible. I could be naked. Here, I'm gonna take off my clothes real quick. Hold on, let me just get all
Wait,
this.
no.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Men of Zen, an animation research podcast. Ooh. That's right. I said it early because we're gonna move into just general animation because I want to, and because animation is rad. My name is Brent.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Aiden.
And today we are talking about Super Crooks, an amazing Netflix anime. If you haven't watched this show, I highly urge you to watch this show. It is so good. There's been like this wave of shows that I've seen recently where the first episode is just beyond shocking for some reason, like you weren't expecting it. And then when this thing hits, your jaw's just on the floor and you're like, wait, that's what this is about? Holy shit.
Yep.
Dude, this is one of those shows. It is so fucking amazing. Super Crooks, it has this phenomenal art style. I can't even begin to describe it. It's a Japanese-American anime featuring Western-style superheroes and villains as they intermingle with personal affairs and vendettas. Super Crooks started as a 4-issue comic book limited series by writer Mark Millar and artist Lionel Francis Yu. The series was written by Dai Sato from Millar's story, and it was directed by Motonobu Hori in his solo directorial debut. The 13-episode series premiered on Netflix worldwide on November 25th of 2021. It serves as a spin-off to Jupiter's Legacy. There is actually a couple parts where I did not realize this at first until one of the characters mentioned a name, and I was like, wait, I've heard that before, and I just, like, this turned into a whole other show for me, and that was only this last time that I watched it, because this is my second time.
I didn't realize that either when the first time I watched this. The characters looked familiar, but then when I was doing research on this where they said it's a spin-off to Jupiter's Legacy, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my god, it is.
Now, I thought Jupiter's Legacy was dumb as shit. I did not like that show one bit, but this makes me want to go back and maybe try to like it again.
I never got to watch it. Well,
I've never seen.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I wanted to, but yeah, I heard the same thing. I heard all these bad reviews about it, and so I never gave it a shot. But now, after watching Super Crooks twice, I think I might have to, just so I can get some understanding of it.
Well, it turns out in June of 2021, a live-action Super Crooks series and the second spin-off from the simultaneously canceled Jupiter's Legacy was announced to be in active development. So we've got more Super Crooks to look forward to. The comic book series was published by the Icon Comics imprint of Marvel Comics from March to August of 2012.
So, right off the bat, all I can say to Netflix, don't do it. Don't. Like, you can't do a live action anime. For 90% of the time when you do a live action anime, it doesn't capture what makes the anime good.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure. I feel like it could be a success depending on how they do it because of the content that's here, right? Like it's a little bit more down to earth about the criminals. Mm-hmm. The superpowers don't always play. They're not always the first and foremost problem of the scenario. Sometimes it's just more about how do they get out of a tough situation. They find themselves with their backs against the wall in a scenario they thought was going to be an easy steal, an easy heist. They were going to make a quick buck, but fuck, the Praetorian shows up. We never even got to see the Utopian really in this, which
you got to see him a little bit, but
he's like the Superman of the series. He's just the big flying super strong guy, and for the most part of this show, he's not even in it. The biggest villain that they're all villains, but the biggest
The
bad
villain to the
guy,
villains.
yeah, the good guys, they're bad guys in this. I'm rooting for the Crooks
100%.
They're some of the coolest fucking characters. Like the main character, Johnny Bolt, voiced by Kenijiro Suda and Jonah Scott in English. Johnny Bolt is the main protagonist and a 2-bit crook looking to pull off the ultimate heist. He originally wanted to be a hero, but accidentally causing a chain reaction of deaths after scaring patrons at a pool when he fell in and electrocuted everybody. And he switched to petty larceny to get by instead. Yeah, dude, this episode 1 opens up with a bang. It's so good. It's almost like I guess I'll bring it up in a little bit here because I wrote that into my copy, so I'm not going to tell you now. We've also got Johnny Bolt's main squeeze, Casey, voiced by Maya Sakamoto, voiced by Abby Trott in English. Johnny's girlfriend, she has the power to implant illusions into people's minds. It's more like she can also like make you like suggest that you do something.
Right.
She can make you believe that you're completely somewhere else. She can make you think a whole other scenario just happened, and by the time she's done, you're left in a room that you do not recognize going, wait, what the fuck was I? And then by the time you know it, she's gone. Despite Johnny's bad habit of never listening to her, typical man, they have a strong and genuine romance. So I want to talk about some of the sub characters because those are, I feel like, the main two.
Right.
There's a ton of others. Tell me about who is the Heat.
Oh man, the Heat. I was gonna say oh boy and oh man. I couldn't decide which one. The Heat, aka Carmine, voiced by Yasuji Kimura in Japanese and Doug Stone in English. Famous criminal from the 1970s during his youth. Unlike the rest of the crooks, he has no powers, instead using flamethrower gear like Heatwave from DC Comics. He taught Casey that pulling off one great heist instead of making a living from them was the better move. The Heat only ever shows up once a decade to refresh the terror of villainy once things get too dull.
He's amazing. He's the main reason why everything happens.
Oh, yeah.
He's always the guy that's like, wait, I have a plan. Everyone's like, ooh, let me in on this. And they just go along with it. And every time they get fucked. And they're like, never again. And then like a week later, it's like, I've got another scheme. And they're like, okay.
And like, yeah, like what like I said earlier, he doesn't have superpowers, but he's just got these cool flamethrower like guns. And he was one of like the big 3 criminals back in the day, who kind of created their own, like, if you want to think of it like DC Comics, the like anti-Justice League or the Injustice League or something like that. Yeah, the
Injustice League.
Yeah, so like he was one of the 3 main criminals that ran the criminal empire, but slowly over time they kind of disbanded and did their own thing.
Yep.
But he's always trying to get back in the limelight because, you know, that's just all he wants to do.
There's always one last job with these guys. It's always like they've always got one last score that they're like, we could make it big if we do this one last job, but then they fuck it up and they're like, well, fuck, now we got one last job to do. We've got other characters that turn out to be pretty like cool, I would say, like the Gladiator.
Oh, love him.
He's more just like the strong man.
Yeah, he's pretty much like, I can't tell if he's as strong as the Utopian.
I don't know.
But like he's shown in the anime to be incredibly strong.
Yes. One of my favorites is Josh the Ghost.
Oh, he's great.
Dude, Ghost is amazing. Voiced by Junichi Suwabe and Bill Butts in English. A sophisticated criminal with the power to phase through solid objects. So he only uses his powers a couple times, but the one time that I fucking loved, they're like breaking into this fortress and they're like, they're like, what do you think is beyond that like security door over there? And he's like, let's go find out. And he literally just like peeks his head through the wall and everybody can see him. Like he's a ghost, but he's just like transparent.
Right, you can see his outline.
So he like peeks in from the waist up completely through the wall and he just starts pointing. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all the guards are looking at him like, what the fuck? And he's like, all right, thanks, gentlemen, and like waves and just backs up through the wall again, and then they just get wrecked. Fucking hilarious. TK, a small-time thief with the power of telekinesis. There's Sammy Diesel, the younger of the Diesel brothers. He has the powers of regeneration, allowing him to instantly heal from an injury, regrow his lost body parts, and even survive being dismembered.
He is one of the two comedic characters in the show, and I freaking love them.
They're
they literally
the
throw
best.
themselves at danger
They
and
are the
traps
best.
because they can't die.
Yeah.
Like, they really just can't seem to die.
He's fucking great. Him and his older brother Roddy. He's the eldest of the two brothers. He shares his younger brother's power of regeneration, and they're always like in like a contest of basically like who can get the most fucked up and get to the it's so fucking good. There's the scene with the it's like a laser room.
Yep, they have to get to the other side of the laser room to shut off the trap, and they basically are like, hey, no one can get through this, like, powers, nothing. So they're like, okay, they take turns running, and as soon as one of them gets dismembered, the other one starts running until the trap resets itself, and then he gets dismembered, and then it's just vice versa. They're trying to see who gets to the end to hit the button first.
And one thing that I never really thought about with characters that do this is their old body parts don't disappear.
No.
So they go through this hallway dying hundreds of times over and over. There's just blood, guts, limbs, heads, arms, just
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
It's great.
It's a fucking massacre of two people.
Oh, yeah.
It's
And
just two guys.
I remember Johnny was like, this is hilarious when it first starts. And then, like, as he's gone on and, like, they're almost to the end, he's like, okay, now this is actually getting disgusting and sick.
Yeah, dude, he's like, well, I'm gonna be sick, I think. Oh my god, it's so fucking good. The Praetorian, dude.
So I never really understood really all about him. And, you know, the Praetorian, voiced by Wataru Hatano in Japanese and D.C. Douglas in English. He's a brutal anti-hero who essentially he plays as a secondary antagonist. He randomly gets powers every day, which only lasts for about 24 hours. So can you imagine being a superhero but waking up every day not knowing what powers you get?
His powers are bullshit. I
Right.
fucking hate it.
He got so many, like, every time he shows up on in any scene, he has like at least a good handful of powers that he gets for that day.
Yeah, but
and they're all really good.
Well, it's not that they're good. It's just it's always the perfect power for the situation. Every time that like this guy shows up, he's the guy that makes me go, "Oh fuck!" Like, what's it gonna be? Like they're going to get fucking wrecked by this guy, and he always has the perfect answer, no matter what it is. He'll be like, "Oh, I just decided to freeze you in place there for a second," or "Oh, did you know I could actually hear your thoughts from like a million miles away? So I knew you were here." Like, fucking, why is his power actually like luck? And then he just luckily gets the best power for the job.
So I'm actually going to look this up right now just because I am curious.
Yeah, you do that. I'll talk to you guys about the next couple of dudes that I love. Some of the biggest villains that like control the other villains. There's the Salamander, who is Matt's right-hand man and the successor as the head of the network. And the network is like, you know, the evil empire is just what they call it. It's the underground network, and the network has its own like set of codes and laws where, you know, they don't steal from each other, they abide by they don't go off and do like secret jobs and get paid on the side. The boss always has to get his cut, and it's always like his say and who does the missions. So Salamander is heading that up, and he's voiced by Hisao Igawa in Japanese and Matthew David Rudd in English. And the last one that I love, and this guy is scary, truly scary to think about it. Christopher Matz, which is what I was talking about when he was Matt's right-hand man, Salamander. Mr. Matz. Christopher Matz, otherwise known as the Bastard, played by, voiced by Hiroshi Yanaka in Japanese and Jason Marnoka. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, Jason, in English. He's a longtime crime boss in charge of the network, akin to the Kingpin and the main antagonist. His name comes from his style of revenge, which he explodes your head. That's all he does. You can't stop it. He's just, I fucking hate you. He doesn't even have to snap his fingers like Thanos. He just gets mad and suddenly people's heads explode. It's holy shit. What a scary power. Like, I don't know how far away you would have to be safe from that. But
I mean, he's kind of shown off that like he uses like a sniper rifle lens to like really focus on people, and he can use that from a very far away
as long as
distance.
he can see you and like focus in on you, he can just. It's not really. He doesn't actually like have it loaded. He doesn't need it. He just uses the scope. It's fucking insane.
He is genuinely terrifying. Like, imagine fighting against someone who could kill you in an instant.
And he is a pretty big guy, but the problem is he is getting up there in years.
Yep, he was like we mentioned earlier with Carmine, the Heat. He was one of the three main villains, and one of the other main villains was the Bastard. And there was another one, Count. Man, why can't I remember his name? Like, there's Count. I keep wanting to say Olaf, and I know that's not right.
No, yeah, it's not Olaf.
But there was a third villain who had like psychic powers, similar to the Bastard, but like a little different. He's from what I can gather. But anyway, hey, I found those powers on the Praetorian. So the Praetorian is reported to have over 200 different powers that he can randomly call upon when the situation needs.
Oh, wait. So it's not necessarily. No, wait. No,
So
I thought it was random.
It is random. So it is random. He gets powers in different days, but like it seems like he has a
not just
pool.
one.
He has a pool of them that he gets every day.
Oh, okay.
So we get self-multiplication, teleportation, laser vision, laser beams shot from his hands, lightning manipulation, super strength, technopathy, super hearing, pyrokinesis, super speed, and hydrokinesis.
Dude,
are some of his powers.
He's such an asshole. Like fucking. There's one scene where he like just shows up to the fight, and he literally out loud goes, "What's it gonna be today?" And he goes. He blasts like a fucking wave of fire out of his hand and he goes, fireball. Perfect.
Yeah.
And just starts fucking throwing
I thought his powers came from cards because he kept like having a stack of cards with him. So I was thinking like maybe his deck of cards had something to do with it.
Like Gambit.
Yeah, something like that. And so that's what I thought when I first watched it, at least. But yeah, you have the Praetorian, you have the Bastard, you have Utopian, like all these powerful. Villains and heroes. It's in a world where like these crooks have not the most flashy powers and not the strongest powers, but like they have these unique abilities that, when brought together, form a pretty cool group of people.
Or do you remember? So some of
Super
the heroes that they don't. So that a lot of the heroes don't really take a major role in this.
No.
The Praetorian is the major one, and he kind of walks a gray line, but there are some other heroes that I thought were fucking hilarious, like Rubber Ball Man.
Oh my god.
He's literally a guy that turns into a ball, and
I almost blocked that out.
So he like bounces off of shit. Oh, he's fucking hilarious. He was great. Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit about the show?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, there's been a major trend of animated series that have had jaw-dropping, shocking introductions in their first episodes, like The Promised Neverland and Invincible, where you think you understand the premise of the show because it feels familiar and comfortable, or it feels predictable, like it pretends to follow the same old formula that we've seen in a bunch of old shows. Then it drops the biggest shit on all of it. And you just think like, wait, hold on. What is this show about? It's awesome. Johnny's powers manifest unknowingly, but overpowering the lights in his home and eventually short-circuiting everything, all the other electrical devices in the area. He realizes, hey, I've got ability to control and conduct electricity, which is apparently a really cool power to have.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, they said there's not really a hero with electric powers at that point.
Yeah.
So he was really excited about that. Unsure if this was actually his doing or not, he begins some testing with the streetlights of his old neighborhood, and then the whole city, causing them to dance and blink on and off according to his will. He has to tell someone, of course, and of course he goes to his best friend Tommy, not wanting to tell his mom because, oh my god, let's talk about his. Johnny didn't have a good upbringing.
She's a hoe bag.
She's a regular hoe bag.
Yeah.
But it's such a. It really does a great job of setting up.
Sizzling like fajita meat. Oh yeah.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Oh hey, there's a new movie for that coming out.
No, really?
Yeah. Well, I think it is out, and I've heard terrible things.
Of course it is. Whenever they try to bring anything back like that was successful in the past, it always seems to be awful.
I was going to tag you in it, and then I read what people had to say, and I was like, never mind.
You should still tag me in it. I'll have to go look at that. In the Super Crooks universe, the SCU, yeah, we see you, Marvel and DC. So fuck it. People are born with powers passed down through genetics, but typically do not have access to them until they have their awakening, just like Brent had last night.
Yeah.
Like lead character Johnny Bolt. Initially, he tends to use his powers for good and has a strong desire to be a hero, fighting alongside legendary heroes like the Utopian, this world Superman, like we mentioned earlier. Let's see here. Johnny, along with his childhood friend Tommy Eggleston, played by Kellen Goff, worked together to make Johnny's superhero debut. He's Electro Boy. Tommy just happens to be great at costume design and knows all of the best origin stories. But when they come up empty-handed with no crimes to stop, they decide to make their own origin story. Unfortunately, this does not go as planned. As you all know, electricity and water do not mix well. Still not fully under the control of his new powers, he accidentally electrocutes a lot of people in a public pool, and of course happens to be where the girl he had a crush on was, who he wanted to show off. In that moment, unfortunately, he kind of snaps and decides that, well, his dream of being a hero is no longer viable. So what does he do? He goes to villainy, and he decides in that moment, after short-circuiting an ATM, he decides that he's going to be a super crook instead.
Dude, and it's a great scene, and that's, oh my god, and that was something that I actually, before doing research on this, I never actually knew if those people in the pool died or not.
I think they did.
Which would be crazy that he could just murder a bunch of people on accident and he's fine. He never did any jail time for that?
They don't really go into specifics, at least in the anime. We haven't read the comic,
that's true. That is true.
He was... after the time skip, they do show him coming out of jail, but I don't know if that's specifically for that crime or for something else completely different.
But yeah, so there's again, like right where that picks up is after this big time skip, and Johnny's in prison, and it shows him getting out like on his release day. He's just getting out, and immediately he goes right back to his old buds, and he's like, hey, what's happening? And Johnny is like, he's the smooth talker. He's like Lupin. He's like Spike from Cowboy Bebop. He's smooth. He is cool. He will kick your ass if you're not paying attention. And he's just kind of a more aloof, like go with the flow kind of character. He doesn't ever... He has a plan, but he almost never follows it. Something always fucks up, and he's like, oh, gotta go with something else. And I don't know, he's like the leader of this little crew, but sometimes it doesn't feel like he exactly has his hand on the wheel. He just kind of goes. He's like, well, whatever fucking happens, I can, I guess, turn off the electricity and do some other stupid shit, I guess. So he's funny. I love that guy. And he
is such a cool character. This whole show has a bunch of really cool, very... interesting and personable characters.
Yeah, they're all very relatable in their own way, I think, to some things. Like, honestly, with Johnny Bolt, if I had powers like his to control like electricity and shit, I would do exactly like he did, and which was like he got his living. He basically, I think it was that he ran away from home or some shit as soon as he could because he fucking hates his mom. She's a giant bitch, and he lived off of money he stole from ATMs.
Yeah,
and that's all he would do. You know, and he would just short circuit the ATM. It would start spitting out money. And later in the show, he actually brings up when they're on a street loaded with a bunch of ATMs, and they're like, "Come on, Johnny, do you want to hit these one more time for old time's sake?" And he's like, "No, we can't do that anymore because those ATMs have cameras." And I was like, well, yeah, but that's when your power kicks in and you just fuck up the camera too. Like, what are they going to do about it? So I don't know why he ever saw that as a problem, unless they thought of a way to prevent that.
Right.
So I don't know. There are devices in this show that dampen people's superpowers. Like in any other Marvel show with like power dampening shit, they'll be just in prison walking around with like their... it's like wrist thing. Oh no, he has it on his chest. He's got like this chest strap thingy that they bind to him, and on his release day they unlock it, and he's like, oh, and he like stretches out like he's had that on forever. They never take it off. Yeah, it's just on.
Yeah,
it's such a good show.
Aiden, tell us what I know you didn't like. You couldn't get too far into the show. You know a little bit about it. What are your opinions?
I mean, it seems like a very interesting concept from like what it is. It's from the superhero's point of view, which is definitely like not
heroes, like the villains.
Well,
Yeah.
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 We give you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. That's what I meant. I apologize.
Well, they are the
super
heroes.
villains.
Yeah, they're the heroes to
Yeah.
us.
And it's kind of cool. And he has like Johnny's different too because he has like a almost like a credo, right? He doesn't want to kill.
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and he's kind of doing his own thing. So I kind of see him more as like kind of just like a neutral, like anti-hero kind of guy, but he kind of does his own thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely different than what most people would think get into it. So it's pretty awesome.
There was
yeah.
one scene, like, because you said that, there's a scene where he thinks that one of his teammates on the job killed someone, and he's getting so mad at them, like, what did I tell you? We don't kill people. That's
Yeah.
the one rule. And
Yep.
he's like, I didn't kill him. I just left it with some brain damage, at least.
Oh yeah. And then
And
he's
he's like, oh, that's fine then.
I fucking forgot
Brain
about that.
damage and broken bones is fine.
That's so
Death,
funny.
no.
So as long as
mean-
they're not dead.
I'm pretty sure Batman has fucked people up pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
He had to. There's no fucking way. That dude's got. There's no way. Not once he goes, yeah, this rocket's just gonna put him to sleep.
Well, we're talking about the DCEU Batman. Yeah, he kills people
Did you
for days.
see this fucking explosion you just caused? That was like there were people nearby. There could have been someone in that car next to it.
He
And he's
dropped him off a building. He's fine. Like, he's splattered on the ground. He's sleeping.
He's just taking a nap. You see these sharp, pointy edges? I fucking love that Funny or Die clip of, was it Badman? Oh my god, those are so fucking funny if you haven't seen those.
Oh my
I
god.
fucking love those. Well, I do want to talk about Mark Millar.
Millar?
Yeah, Millar. So this guy has got a font of information. So I'm going to try to get through this here quickly so that we can keep this wagon train moving.
Oh my god, you're not kidding.
Mark Millar, and this was, I had to pick and choose what I wanted. This is like a quarter of what was there. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
fuck. Yeah, well, so this is what we get when we pick guys that actually have stuff in English, because it's... I guess when it comes to anything Japanese, people enjoy their privacy, so they don't divulge as much about their
Right.
lives as as a lot of like English or English speaking people, because I guess we're all nosy as fuck, so we got to know everything. But
Sounds about right.
yep, so we've got everything. Here it is. Mark Millar was the writer. He's a Scottish comic book writer and producer who first came to prominence with a run on the superhero series The Authority, published by DC Comics' Wildstorm imprint. Millar has written extensively for Marvel Comics, including runs on The Ultimates, which has been called the comic book of the decade by Time magazine and described as a major inspiration for the 2012 film The Avengers by its screenwriter Zach Penn. X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Avengers for Marvel's Ultimate imprint, as well as Marvel Knights, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. In 2006, Millar wrote the Civil War miniseries that served as the centerpiece for the eponymous company-wide crossover storyline, and later inspired the Marvel series studio film Captain America Civil War, which Civil War... I have this love-hate relationship with, because I loved the movie. That was great.
Yeah.
It's nothing like the comic book.
Oh no, not at all.
And the comic book is great until the last 5 pages. And so before you finish it, just get to almost the last few panels and then stop. Just do yourself a favor.
You didn't like that way it ended?
No, that is trash. That was the worst. Have you? I mean, I could spoil
I've
it.
never watched the.
So
I never read the comics.
I've read. I didn't mind it. It wasn't bad, but I was like,
It's the fucking worst. So I mean, just like the movie, you have Captain America, which is heading up this side of the people, and then you have Tony Stark, which is heading up the other side, and it differs from the movie because this is all about superhero anonymity rather than superheroes being controlled by the government. So the Wakanda Accords are not the thing that happens in Civil War. What it is the government is trying to force every superhero to need to reveal their identity to the public. And Spider-Man is like, fuck no. And so is fucking Captain America, which is awesome. He's on the side for, no, this is right. It's going to hurt a lot of people. We can't do this. Tony Stark obviously doesn't give a shit because he he blasts it out there. He's like, I'm Iron Man. What
Well,
the
yeah,
fuck
I mean,
are you gonna do about it?
People know that Captain America is Steve Rogers too. Like,
Right, but it's what he's fighting for.
Right.
It's the fact that, like, I mean, just like Peter Parker, like, he's got people that he cares about that nobody knows that it's Peter Parker, but as soon as they know, they're all targets, and
Right.
it's crazy. So Captain America is fighting for the side that he thinks is right. At the end of the fucking book, it doesn't really come to a conclusion. They fight and fight and fight, just like in Civil War, where that scene happens, but then Captain America just suddenly has this realization and goes, oh no, I've been wrong all along, and throws his hands up and goes, arrest me. He just gives up. And I'm like, that is bullshit.
yeah, that's
No,
dumb.
I hated it. And it's a thick ass comic book. Like, it takes a while to read. Oh my god, that was the most disappointing car trip ever. I remember reading it. I was with an old band in the car in the back reading it, and I literally finished up and I was like, no! And I just shut the book and was like, fuck, does anybody want this? Oh my god, I hate it. It was so fucking bad. Back
I
to
didn't mind it because I like Iron Man better than Captain America. That's why I was like,
yeah, that was cool. And it gives a better scene of how Spider-Man gets the Iron Spider suit, which is fucking cool. And there's some other really awesome stuff that happens in that book. It's a great book, except for the end. Don't read it. The Old Man Logan storyline, published as part of Millar's run on Wolverine, served as the
still need to watch
inspiration
that.
for the 2017 film Logan. It's good.
You've never seen Logan?
no, I've never seen Logan, but
What?
I heard
Yeah.
good things about it.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's The Last of Us it's The Last of Us after
Yeah, it's The Last of Us with mutants.
Yeah, it's the Last of Us mutants.
It's
So,
so
like,
good.
who's Logan in it? Like, I know who he is, but like, who's he? Like,
it's Hugh Jackman.
Well, no, I'm saying like, as in like The Last of Us. Who would?
Wolverine
Rudy.
is Joel.
Yeah.
Then who's the Ellie?
His
X-
X13.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
She's cool though. Like, she's a fucking mean little shit. She's awesome.
Oh yeah, and this is a type of I know we just said we were going to go back to a little bit about the author, but main thing here is like in Logan, Wolverine he's no longer able to regenerate as easy as he used to. The vibranium in his skeleton is actually now poisoning him.
Huh.
So
Okay.
like he's starting to like become weaker, and it shows him like he's still a badass. He's still like incredibly strong, but he's not as strong, and he's dying essentially.
Yep.
And it's showing in a world where like mutants are gone, and he's one of the very few left, and he's on the run. It's really cool though. Like, it's one of the better Marvel movies. And I know it's not part of the MCU, but it's just one of the better Marvel superhero movies.
Yeah. And hey, before we actually continue off with the rest of Millar's story, do you guys want to take a quick moment of zen and do our first ad read? Because we are now sponsored partnership.
Oh my god, you're right, guys. This is big.
Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to take a quick moment of zen here, and we'll get this ad read, and we'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, guys? Today's episode is sponsored by W Energy. You can check out their products at w.gg.
W was formulated to give you the focus and energy you need with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented Neurofactor.
W contains no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors.
And our viewers can get 10% off their order using our discount code menofzen at w.gg. So,
Dubby, get yourself a Dubby today with Dubby Energy.
I had something going and you interrupted me. That's fine. Whatever.
Or we could redo it.
No,
Our first ad read.
holy crap,
How
we did
fucking
it.
cool is that?
We did it perfectly with no mistakes or a redone.
First
redos.
try. First try. No mistakes.
Hey,
not
everybody.
once.
Yeah.
It's a world
five.
record. Dubby Energy. I'm excited for this stuff. It's really cool. But hey, if there's any other ad sponsors out there that we can get, whether you know of someone or we're gonna come looking for you now. We're coming for you. I'm gonna get those ads. I'm getting that money. Give me that money.
Hey, and I was gonna say another thing you guys should know about. Hey, do you know we have Patreon?
Ooh, we do have a Patreon. That is right. You know, I almost forgot it. Patreon.com/TheMenOfZen. For $3 a month, you can join our Patreon account and get some bonus episodes on things like Golden Boy.
Ooh, Toonami.
There's quite a few episodes on there.
We've got quite a bit.
It's been a little bit since I've looked at what all there is, and I know there's way more than that. So there's a good amount of information on there for $3 a month. Patreon.com/TheMenOfZen. But for the reason that we are here discussing Mark Millar, which he was so before I talk about violence, I'm just saying things at this point because I don't know where I'm at. No, that's okay. Millar was born on the 24th of December 1969 in Coatbridge, Scotland. He's Scottish. He spends the first half of his life in the town's Townhead area and attended St. Ambrose High School. Millar has 4 older brothers, 1 older sister who are 22, 20, 18, 16, and 14 years older than him, respectively. He was first introduced to comic books at age 4 by his brother Bobby, who at the time was attending university and as of 2010 worked at a special needs school. The first comics that Millar read were the seminal 121st issue of The Amazing Spider-Man, which featured the death of Gwen Stacy.
No.
Wow. For your first comic book, you're like, wait, she fucking dies?
Wow.
I knew a cat named
Spoiler.
Gwen Stacy.
The other was a Superman book purchased by Bobby that same day. Millar's interests in the medium was further cemented with the black and white reprints of other comics purchased for him by his brothers, so much that he drew a spider web across his face with an indelible marker that his parents were unable to scrub off in time for his first communion photo a week later.
Good man.
Oh my god! I wish I would have done some of that shit as like a kid for school photos. Like just, your mom's like,
Spider-Man.
always wear your good shirt or some shit. And you're like, I'm gonna ruin it, and then you're like, no. You put some shit on your face. You're like, it's not gonna come off. Oh my god, they'd be so pissed. Millar's mother unfortunately died of a heart attack at age 64 when Millar was 14, and his father died 4 years later at age 65. Although Millar enjoyed drawing comics, he was not permitted to go to art school because his family frowned upon such endeavors as a waste of time for the academic Millar, who studied subjects like chemistry, physics, and advanced maths. He initially planned to be a doctor and subsequently decided that becoming an economist would be a viable alternate plan, but later decided that he couldn't quite hack it in that occupation. He attended Glasgow University to study politics and economics, but dropped out after his father's death left him without the money to pay his living expenses. Millar was first inspired to become a comic book creator after meeting Alan Moore at a con in the mid-1980s. Years later, when an 18-year-old Millar interviewed Scottish comic book writer Grant Morrison for a fanzine, he told Morrison that he wanted to create comics as both a writer and an artist. Morrison, who then recently returned to comics after spending most of the decade touring with his band The Mixers and had limited experience both of writing and drawing stories earlier in his career, suggested that Millar focus on one of those career paths, as it was very hard to be successful at both, which Millar cites as the best advice he ever received. Soon after, Millar sold his first script, Savior, to an independent Leicester-based publisher, Trident. Illustrated by Daniel Vallely, Morrison's former bandmate in The Mixers, and earlier, The Foes. The Foes? I don't know what that word is. It sounds French or foreign, I don't know. Savior provided a mix of religious themes, satire, and superhero action that quickly brought Millar to the attention of the wider British comics industry and resulted in several script commissions for the long-running anthology 2000 AD and its sister, Little Or wow.
We're recording late, guys.
Yeah, man, shut up. The long-running anthology 2000 AD and its sister title, Crisis. Quite literally, my eyes were like blurry, and I'm like, what? Like, no joke. For me, this is late as fuck. I'm dead tired. Millar started gaining notice at DC Comics for his work on the all-ages comic book series Superman Adventures, which featured stories set in the continuity of Superman, the animated series. Millar, a self-proclaimed Superman fan, or a, would you say super fan?
He's a super fan.
Superman fan. He stayed on the title for 2 years and received 2 Eisner Award nominations while penning one-off stories featuring the version of the character from the mainline DC universe. Millar's best-known Superman story, the 3-issue Elseworlds miniseries Superman Red Sun, was first announced in 1998, even though Millar finished most of the script 2 years prior. Have you guys read Red Sun before?
I have heard a bit about it, but I have not watched it.
I've heard good things about it, and it's been recommended to me a few times, but I haven't checked it out.
It's short. It's an amazing read. I do own it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you said read.
Yeah.
I know there's that, but I know there's a movie on it.
Oh
too.
yeah, there is. You know, I forgot about that. I need to
There's
see
a bunch
that.
of animated movies.
Yeah, no, I mean there's a ton of them. I forgot there is a Red Sun animated movie. I need to watch that. But yeah, it's phenomenal. It is so good. It's it is effectively, if instead Superman landed in the United States, he lands in Russia instead, and he becomes a really big communist. So now this whole story takes place over in Russia, and there is now a Batman equivalent in Russia that they call Batmankov, and he is like just Russian Batman. But instead of just being like the vigilante rich superhero, he's actually more of like a terrorist who knows that Superman is a giant fuck, and he's doing everything he can to kill him. It's amazing.
So just like American Batman. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but it's more like
he just hates. They still
weapons.
hate. He still hates Superman. That's what I mean.
But he's like poor. He's definitely more of a terrorist. He'll just bomb build anything he can do to like fuck up Superman. Yeah. He'll do it. He doesn't care if other people die. He's like, Superman's gotta go. This whole regime is stupid. It's an amazing book. I'll have to let you borrow it sometime.
Yeah.
In June of 2000, Marvel announced that Millar will join its then upcoming Ultimate line of comics as the writer on Ultimate X-Men, another amazing series, since Brian Michael Bendis, who's one of the best fucking artists, who was previously attached to the series, decided to focus his attention on the inaugural Ultimate launch of the Spider-Man title. The line, designed to simplify and streamline the company's long-running fictional continuity for the mainstream audiences, was met with instant critical and commercial success, and soon after the launch of Ultimate X-Men, Millar announced that he had signed a 2-year contract for a staff writing position at Marvel.
Ooh.
In 2003, Millar introduced Millar World, a unified label for his future creator-owned comics. The initial lineup consisted of Wanted. Do you remember that shit?
Yep.
The movie with Angelina Jolie and Morgan Freeman?
I tried to bend bullets. That
Dude,
didn't work out.
dude, I will never forget that scene. But as dumb as a premise as that movie kind of was, that was an awesome movie. It was incredibly entertaining.
I heard there were meant to be like sequels to it, but it performed so badly they scrapped the sequels.
Yeah, and that was one of the only like movies on Blu-ray that I remember going. Do you guys remember like special edition Blu-ray movies?
Yeah.
Do they still happen?
Probably not.
I haven't seen.
I think they should do, because I bought the Godzilla one like a year or two, like Godzilla vs. King Kong special edition for it.
Oh yeah, okay. I don't know. Movies are so weird anymore.
Right. It feels like the industry.
They're unnecessary.
Well, yeah, the industry wants everyone to go digital and buy your movies digital, which I will
stupid.
not do.
Yeah, and so I like the physical copies.
Yeah,
like,
I don't even worry about buying it. It's gonna end up streaming somewhere.
Somewhere, but I like my collection because I can watch it whenever I want. I don't need the internet.
Yeah, you don't need internet to watch it.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. There's
now,
I got rid of almost all of my Blu-rays. I think I own like 20 now.
Now here's the thing. I don't know if you heard about this, but Sony, they no longer do movie and TV show. Like you can't buy movies and TV shows through like the Sony store on your PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And every movie that they no longer had the rights to, they just removed. You had even if you had bought it, you had downloaded it on your console, you owned that because you paid for it. They just took it away, and they're like, "Sorry, we don't own the rights to this anymore, so you can't have it."
No,
That's what I don't like about digital. They can just take it away from you at any point.
See, I think what they did though, because I'm pretty sure I remember hearing about this. I think they did a grace period where they're like, you have to download it before this date.
Nope, that was not.
Really?
Yep, they were just removed.
So-
Stuff like John Wick was one of the big movies that Sony just pulled from everyone's console.
You're saying the people that already have it downloaded,
Yep.
it just got deleted off
Yep.
their thing.
Wow.
Yep,
That's kind of
that's why I
bullshit.
don't trust digital content.
Yeah, that's shitty. But I guess in a weird way, due to the way the contract works with digital, this should be known to everybody who does digital stuff. This is something I'm very well aware of, is that when you buy something digital, you're not actually buying it. You do not own it. You are buying the access to it.
Yes, exactly.
So
you are buying a license to use it.
Which is
Yes.
dumb. That's why I like the physical
Right.
copies better. 'Cause
Well,
you actually
that's
just-
why, like,
I don't know.
Destiny and shit, like Destiny 2, when they took away, like, the Mars content, they, like, wiped it from its
Yep, they're taking
storyline
King
continuity.
content that we loved playing back in the day.
Yeah,
And that's
so
gone.
They
My
removed,
Overwatch, my original.
Yeah, my original Overwatch.
yeah, they removed it, and I remember there was being a big debate, and that's where I kind of got this point of view, and I was like, well, realistically, yeah, we bought the expansion, but how do you own an expansion when it's part of the game that you technically don't own because it's their game? You're just allowed access to it.
Right.
So they gave you money to have access to that stuff. Now I will also say, for a lot of people that were mad about the Mars shit, what good did that do you? It was for fucking nothing in Destiny 2. I remember going through Mars going, this is fucking stupid. I think I got one, like, exotic weapon out of it, and I was like, thank God that's done.
Well, I think what it comes down to is, like, what me and Aiden are saying is that with digital content, you just own. You have a license to play it.
It's
you
not
do
even-
not own
you don't
anything.
own it. Yep.
They can take it away at any point in time. Like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game that beat 'em
Yep,
up,
yep.
that was ripped from people's consoles because the Ubisoft lost the rights to it. So
Really?
even though I had spent money on it, it was gone. Then when they re-release it because they got the rights back, they re-released it. I bought a physical copy. I bought a digital copy because I love that game. But I now have a physical one. So if anything ever happens to it, I have it. And that's why behind
Yeah.
me, you guys can't see because obviously we're doing audio, but there's a giant wall of video games that I own and I will never lose because they're physical. They're
He's
mine.
lying.
I
He has
can
like
play
3
them.
games.
Yeah. And you know why I never buy physical games anymore? Because Phil does it for me.
Yep. I'm a library, my friends and family.
Oh my god. So, back to Milar.
Back to Milar.
Oh yeah, well no, I do want to talk about this real quick because that's why I brought this up. So the fucking the Wanted movie, it was a Blu-ray collector's edition, and it had this really cool thing where it was in this really thick plastic clear like plexiglass case, and the case had this like shatter effect on it, and it had a
Oh.
portion of a bullet sticking out of the front of the thing, and I was like,
I think
"Oh."
I remember that.
That's one of like the only collector's editions I ever bought for a Blu-ray movie, and I was like, I have to have that. It was cool. It was a fun movie. It wasn't good. It was fun. He also did work on the movie Chosen, or not the movie. Another we're talking about movies. He worked on Chosen, The Unfunnies, and an unreleased one-shot called Run. It is unreleased, but I would kind of like to know what that was. Another unreleased project was King and Country, a political drama involving the British royal family, repurposed from a TV series pitch Millar created in 2005. According to Millar, the book was supposed to be published in the form of a fully painted graphic novel by a big book publisher. In 2008, Millar World line expanded with 2 new releases, War Heroes at Image and Kick-Ass, which was published under Marvel's Icon imprint and adapted into a feature film 2 years later. The ownership of the Millar World series is split 50-50 between Millar and his collaborating artist.
Ooh, his collaborating artist.
Yeah, which I wonder if that's just whoever his artist is at the time. So there was a lot more information on Millar World, and one of the things that got brought up that I didn't cover because it was just a lot of dates and history, but he used to do this competition that was called something like it was like a Wizard's Drawing Board Contest. and that actually gets brought up a little bit later here when we talk about Lionel Francis. And it was exactly what it was. It was just a contest, for good drawing shit, but winners got to go on and become like partners and work with Millar because he prominently became a writer.
Oh wow.
So that's why it's phenomenal that he was doing this. And I think it's a really interesting way that he did it as a contest to just like win a position. It's like Hell's Kitchen of art. Like this drawing is raw, and he fucking just crumples it up and throws it into the trash.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Dude, we love Gordon Ramsay here.
We've been watching Hell's Kitchen a lot at home.
Stay tuned for our next episode on Men of Zen, Gordon Ramsay.
The anime.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine that? It'd be like Food Wars with a lot of swearing.
Oh my god, yes. That'd be amazing. Why hasn't this been done yet?
I don't know. Get with
only a
Gordon
matter of
Ramsay
time.
on it. Maybe he'll want to make an anime.
I hear he's a weeb.
He probably is. He's
I
got
can see it.
Yeah,
He's
I guess
got
he
it.
talks with his daughter.
He's
That's awesome.
Yeah,
He's probably got Dragon Ball tats.
he
They're just
does.
under all of
He
his.
definitely does. Underneath his chest, he just says like he has a
It's
he has
Hatsune
a Yajirobe.
He has Gregory the Cricket.
Hatsune Miku.
Yeah, it's Hatsune Miku on his chest.
on his thigh, he has Rhea Scrimmer.
I
Somewhere.
wish I did.
He's like,
He
how
has,
do they know?
He has Gluttony from Full Metal Alchemist,
Yeah.
like on his lower calf.
Oh my god.
Okay, so what's that thing where look at the succubus tattoo, but for guys, it's like right above the pubic bone?
The what?
Like, okay, you know where
what?
you know where your pubes go, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He has
I'm
this,
aware.
okay, I can imagine having it shaved, but then having like
Oh, it's like it's like guns or something.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
Elon.
they're like dominators.
Oh my god.
exactly.
Dude, that'd be the fucking ultimate like.
That's what he is.
That's so intimidating.
Dude, that'd be so fucking amazing.
I need an artist to
Somebody
give me that
please
drawing.
do this. If you get dominators on your in your upper pubis region of your
pubis.
body tattooed there forever, please send us a picture. Send it to any one of our social media sites so you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
as long as it's still there.
Yeah, well, so it is. Yeah, it is. It's definitely there, but that's a whole fucking.
No,
other mess.
I want an artist who can take a picture of Gordon Ramsay and Photoshop him with a bunch of anime tattoos.
Oh, make it. Give him a blue check on Twitter.
Yes.
No, I guess as of talking about this now, the blue check is gone. You can't buy that anymore. He immediately revoked it.
There's a thing about Twitter I'll mention later on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Well, we'll talk about this real quick, and then I think we've got some other fun info, and that might be about it for this series. Phil, tell us a little bit about Lionel Francis Yu.
Well, Lionel Francis Yu was born in 1977 and is a Filipino comic book artist who began working for the American market through Wildstorm Productions. Wildstorm is an American comic book imprint, originally founded as an independent company established by Jim Lee under the name Aegis Entertainment, and expanded in subsequent years by other creators. Wildstorm became a publishing imprint of DC Comics in 1999. Lionel Francis Yu was first recognized after winning the Wizards Drawing Board contest. His first published work, he was first hired by Whilce Portacio, if I'm saying that correctly, to do some work for Wildstorm, and started his comic book artist career on Aster, The Last Celestial Knight, #3, with Ronaldo Roxas.
Cool name.
Right?
Ronaldo
Roxas.
Do you think his parents were fans of Kingdom Hearts?
Like, I don't think Kingdom Hearts was made at that point.
Do you think they knew about it ahead of time?
They just knew.
Maybe he changed his name.
Maybe Roxas was,
Oh, you think that guy was Ronaldo that much of a weeb? Roxas is my favorite character.
Ronaldo Weeb Roxas.
You know what my favorite game is? 358 over 2. you
Says
don't,
no
you
one
don't
ever.
say 358, fucking stupid head.
Oh,
Get it right.
Jesus Christ. In the mid-1990s, but that work fell through. Portacio then passed on samples of Yu's work to Marvel Comics, who subsequently hired him to work on Wolverine.
Woo!
Wolverine Claws.
Schnickety, schnickety, schnoin.
After his run on Wolverine, he moved on to work on Marvel's core X-Men title in 2000. being written by Chris Claremont at the time, Yu continued to work on other Marvel titles, such as Fantastic Four, Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk, and New Avengers. He also co-created High Roads with writer Scott Lobdell at Cliffhanger, and Superman Birthright with Mark Waid, and Silent Dragon with Andy Diggle at DC Comics. His run on Marvel's New Avengers series ended with number 37, so he could begin work on Secret Invasion. That's a big title with Marvel.
Yes, it is.
Which was written by Brian Michael Bendis.
Woo!
He also completed his work on the long-delayed Ultimate Wolverine vs. Hulk series after finishing the miniseries Secret Invasion, before going on to work on Ultimate Comics Avengers 2 with Mark Millar.
You know, and also earlier I do mention. I know I made a goof him up. I'm pretty sure I said Michael Bendis was an artist earlier. He's not. He's the writer.
Yeah.
But Bendis's name is all over comic books. Like, he's phenomenal at what he does. Anything he puts his name on, it's fucking gold. He's Midas.
Okay. Huh. Cool.
Bendis. Just know that name.
Midas Bendis. Bendis Midas.
Midas.
Bendis ass over.
I'm about to bend this ass over.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Brian, that happened. Wow.
My mind goes places, man.
Wait, what'd you guys do to Brian?
Not this Brian.
Oh my god, that's a great knock knock joke. Hold on. Knock knock.
Who dis?
I'm a
who?
I'm a bend this ass over. It's almost there. It's a work in project joke. Okay, I'll have it finished for next episode, but it's gonna work.
There
it's
we go.
Great.
I believe in you. On April 9th, 2011, Yu is one of 62 comic creators who appeared at the IGN stage at Kapow convention in London to set 2 Guinness World Records: the fast production of a comic book and the most contributors to a comic book. With Guinness officials on hand to monitor their progress, writer Mark Millar began work at 9 a.m. scripting a 20-page black and white Superior comic book, with Yu providing the book's front cover and the other artists appearing on stage throughout the day to work on the pencils, inks, and lettering, including Dave Gibbons, Frank Quitely,
I think it's Quitely.
John Romita Jr., Jock, Doug Braithwaite, Ian Churchill, Duncan Fregretto, Simon Furman, David LaFuente. Sorry if I'm butchering any of these names.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
John McCree, Sean Phillips, Liam Sharp. Oh, yep, that's all of them. Who all drew a panel each. The book was completed in 11 hours, 19 minutes, and 38 seconds, and was published through Icon on November 23rd, 2011, with all royalties being donated to York Hill Children's Foundation. Oh, that's so sweet of them.
Yeah, and that's an amazing thing to see. Like, I would have loved to be at that panel and just watch them work.
For 11 hours straight?
Yeah, well, it's, I don't know, at least, like, I would like to at least see the recording of it, not necessarily sit there, but, like, it's an interesting thing to see the progress that happens, and especially from person to person, because they're all going to have their own different styles and stuff. So I'm wondering, as they each did their own panel, so every panel is going to look wildly different.
Right.
It's really cool. I'm really curious. I want to see it.
In 2018, Marvel relaunched a new volume of Captain America with Yu as the artist. I cannot talk right now. It's so late, guys.
See?
No, I feel you.
Do you know? Oh, sorry.
No, what are you going to say?
Okay. You guys seen Austin? Wait, I think it's no, it's not Austin. Okay, Rush Hour.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
As you just said, they're like you as the artist, like you know what I'm talking about. Right? Not you.
You. Oh, what's his name? You. No, not my name. What's your name? You.
Or what was the oh my god, there
Not
was
me,
that news anchor lady that was dumb as shit, and she was talking to some guy, and the guy was like, it was an interview, a live interview on TV, and this guy was describing the TV series on Netflix, You.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's this thing that happened on You when we're talking about like this disease and stuff, and the girl's like, wait, I never talked about any disease, and he's like, no, it's on You, and she's like, what do you mean what do you mean it's on me? I never had a special on that disease before. He's like, no, it's on you. It's called You. And she's like, I don't understand. And he's like, it's a show on Netflix called You, and she just doesn't fucking get it. Oh my god.
Oh, boomers.
Go look it up. It's great.
In 2019, you, not me, you, not you, created the first Filipino superhero, Wave, who first appears in the Marvel Comics issue War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas #1, published on May 8th, 2019. There are also 2 variant covers that came from a comic shop in the Philippines that feature Wave on the cover, making it her first cover appearance.
That's rad.
Yeah, it all makes sense. Like Marvel artists were writing. Like I'm looking at some of like the comic book panels too, like some of the graphic novel, and it looks freaking phenomenal. Like it's super detailed. It makes me really want to read it. But then like translating all of this to an anime which to me like it has a very reminiscent animation style to like Cowboy Bebop and some like the older anime that you really don't see nowadays. Everything's almost like 3D designed, or I hate that type of animation. I like the older style animation, which it's so fluid though. It's a fantastic show.
Oh, it really is. Like that was actually one of the things I wanted to bring up. Is there is some gorgeous animation scenes where they're like being chased down a streetway, and these super crooks are like in pursuit. I think it was with Rubber Ball Man, and I forget what other hero was chasing them. But there's parts where like there's buildings exploding in the background, and it's got this cool camera angle that's like down below and like aiming upwards at an angle as they're running like towards the right hand side of the screen, and the buildings in the background are just exploding, and it's so detailed. I watched that scene a couple times and was like, wow, dude, it's phenomenal, just the level of detail that was put into this. You don't see that a whole lot anymore with these anime. But yeah, exactly right. Like where you were saying, like Cowboy Bebop vibes, that's a lot what this gives off to me. It does have more crisp animation than Cowboy Bebop does, but the art inspiration wise, it gives off the same vibe. I love it.
Yeah, do you also remember the superhero, because you mentioned Rubber Ball Man?
Yeah.
The superhero Meat Mountain.
Man
Mountain. I think it was like this giant superhero that just like he turns giant. You know, I'm trying to like bring up a picture of him, but like
So, all office furniture 50% off.
That sounds like a good
furniture, 50% off. Turn into a mountain of meat.
Turn into a mountain, damn it.
Right,
that's a fine Wayne Gretzky.
You've seen The Boys, right, Brent?
Yes.
So
yes, I have.
Phil just said Meat Mountain. You know that guy with the fucking big ass dick that just
yes.
That's why I just came up with
my God. Yeah. God.
There's a guy that has like a 10-foot dick. That's his power, just like huge ass dick, and he can move it, and he like wraps people up and fights with his dick.
What? Like he's not like a reoccurring. He's like a one-off thing that like does something funny. But oh my God, there's the scene. I think it's the beginning of season 3 or 4.
Where he has that party.
Yeah, well, no, one of the guys is really, really tiny, and he's in that other dude's
yeah. He goes in. Yeah.
So one of the main like themes with The Boys is there's this drug going around that like is getting superheroes like off on it. They fucking love this shit.
There's that hero-gasm.
Yeah, and it's like so it's like a real big underground like secret crack for superheroes. And they're like this one guy, he becomes really tiny, and he's like crawling around in some dude's butt while they're doing like sexy time stuff, but he's really fucking high, and he like sneezes or forgets, and he accidentally enlarges and rips the dude into fucking a million pieces.
He's actually in his dick. He crawled through the guy's dick hole.
Dick.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he goes to the guy's urethra to like please him.
Can we move on? I don't want to think about that.
Dude, like that show has more people turn into a fine bloody mist of unrecognizable body parts that I've ever seen in another show. Yeah. It's so fucking good. In fact, that's how it starts, and that's why you should watch it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Do it. Stop saying it like that. And just go, I should watch The Boys because it's fucking awesome.
I got too much of this shit to watch. Like all these anime that we're doing for these episodes.
You can have it in the background. Like it's English.
What do you think I'm doing in the background already?
Which actually, before we're even get into it, I'm just gonna say for our first animation podcast episode with just general animation, not that Avatar didn't count, but I do want to move into just more American stuff too, so we can get more stuff from Adult Swim, Cartoon Network, Fox Kids, fucking anything that was on. Was there CBS Kids stuff that might have been cool? I don't remember. But I mean, there's a couple channels that there was shit from like 4Kids Entertainment. There's a boatload of shit that we could get into, and I would love to figure out how the fuck does Cat Dog take a poop.
Right.
Like,
It's because dog throws up.
yeah, but our first episode we're gonna do cover. Our next episode will be Metalocalypse. So if you're a really big fan of Metalocalypse, fucking. Oh wow! Wee. I can't do Toki's good. I used to be kind of good at him.
Oh god,
Dude, it's gonna be fucking rad. I love this show. I have so much to talk about it, so we'll save that all for next time. Now I know we've had a couple pretty solid weeks in terms of news for like anime shit. A couple pretty big things have happened. Aiden, you have some info on those pretty big cool things that have happened?
Well,
Yeah.
I have one particular thing with Chainsaw Man's creator Fujimoto.
Ooh.
So he's had some issues with Twitter. Have you guys heard about his Twitter debacle?
hasn't?
No.
All right, so there's a couple of big things that happened. So his main Twitter account actually got banned.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was like, I guess, some age restriction policies because he was pretending to be his sister or something. I don't know, something like that. But the real issue was when he was actually trying to get verified, his account kept getting banned, and it was actually his main account. He's like, he made tweets saying, "I actually am Fujimoto." Then people kept reporting it and saying, "No, it's a fake account." So his real account kept getting banned over and over.
Oh.
Yeah, so eventually he actually had to release his original like artwork of like, Chainsaw Man stuff, and he's like, "This is actually me. Here's my actual artwork," and people are like, "Oh wait, it isn't. It actually is him."
They're just gonna download it and make a fake profile and be like, "See, this is my."
Yeah, I thought it was funny because he kept making tweets like, "This is me. I'm actually real," and then reported. Deleted. It's like, God damn it. And he would make more accounts saying it's me.
Dear
He keeps getting
God.
taken down.
That's so
It was just
fucking
funny. He's just having issues. But yeah. On top of that, there's rumors also going on Chainsaw Man getting canceled. You heard about those rumors?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Our friend Brian actually
What?
messaged me asking like, "Hey, did they cancel
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man in the States?"
The rumors aren't true. They're debunked, but there are rumors going around saying it was going to be canceled because Denji is actually 17. He's underage, and he was doing sus stuff with his goals.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so people are like, "Oh no, we got to cancel that," you know.
No way. There's so
Yeah.
many other words.
I know, that's what I was saying,
He's like
but-
every high school kid where I expect that kind of
Right.
material, but there's plenty of other significantly more questionable anime that exists that definitely was not canceled in the States.
It definitely wasn't. It's doing really well. I think it's still in the top 3 for like the charts right now. I think Bleach, that, and I think Blue Lock or I want to say Spy Family Part 2. It's on the top 3 right now.
Yeah, like I thought I saw the chart not too long ago, and the last time I saw the chart was Chainsaw Man, something blurry, I don't remember the name, Spy Family, and then something else blurry, I don't remember the name, and then Bleach as like number 5, which was weird. I think that was the whole meme, was because Bleach wasn't doing like,
Oh, yeah,
super
that's
hot,
right.
so everyone's like, oh, like they're all Bleach fans are all sad about it.
Dude, the new Bleach episodes, oh my god, are so good. They've
Really?
they've taken the panels, which are already like amazingly well drawn, and translated them so well into
I keep
anime
hearing it's great.
and the new art style for this season is very different than any of the previous seasons of Bleach.
Oh,
It's very
really?
dark. It's very
Yeah.
like new. It's like modern, but also old school in a way.
Do you like
And
the new
just-
art style better, Phil?
This new art style, 100%. Everyone looks so detailed. It looks great. I'll have to show you some stuff
Okay.
before you leave because
With,
it's amazing.
All right.
Well,
And
Naruto's getting that like spot treatment for it's just season 1, I think, right? Or it's just
I think that
few
was just
episodes?
a 20-year like, hey, happy anniversary
Oh, yeah.
for Naruto. That's,
I think it was just,
they're
like,
not redoing
images,
any
yeah.
of it.
Really?
Yeah, they're not. But people are now demanding they redo it.
Yeah.
kind of
dude.
like a Naruto Kai kind of shit.
Yeah, I really hope so. Like, that animation does look remarkably better. And it's not even just that the animation looks more crisp or clean, but they get much better angles and wider shots of cool, like, scene. Like, they've learned a lot. And you can see, like, what makes a scene more dramatic. And it looks amazing. I want to see more of that Naruto, for sure.
For sure. Also,
One of these days we'll do it.
Also,
Do an episode
guys-
on Naruto. One day.
Sorry, Phil. Other anime news. well, you guys might have known, might have heard this, but Ash, right, guys? He won the championship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ash.
Yeah.
Ash won. He finally did it,
He finally did it.
and he didn't fucking deserve it.
Actually, I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
So what I mean by that is that it just feels like this entire tournament. The idea that he became, first of all, one of the top 8 trainers in the world, immediately using just a new team of Pokemon he just happened to catch in this new recent season. And then he doesn't use any of his older Pokemon, which we know for a fact. His older Pokemon, he had powerhouses like Charizard, who beat Articuno, Sceptile, who beat a Darkrai, you had Snorlax and Fernape, like all these really powerful Pokemon, and he didn't use any of them. And instead he uses a brand new team that he just caught, as well as a Pokemon that he only hatched only recently that then evolved. And this Pokemon that just recently hatched he was able to beat Cynthia's Garchomp, which is a monster in its own right. Which makes, here's the thing, it's plot armor. This is his time to finally win it all. And part of me is like, that's great. This has been something that I've wanted for 25 years, but it doesn't feel like he actually deserved it.
Right, that not having watched that sounds bad.
Yeah.
I hate that. Why wouldn't they want to send him out in style with his OG shit?
Or have him swap between all of his older Pokemon, bring them back for certain battles to show how he has all these really cool Pokemon.
Yeah,
not all of them, mind you, because he's got a lot of Pokemon, but bring the fan favorites back.
Pikachu, Charizard, fucking
Snorlax, come on.
Yeah, he's got the Snorlax. I'm pretty sure
That Snorlax does not lose.
It does not. No,
it
he
shouldn't.
fucks people up.
Opens its eyes and hyper beams come out of
Yeah,
it.
it fucking does. Dude, I love Snorlax. He's such a good Pokemon.
One of my favorites.
Oh, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet coming out here pretty soon. I'm pretty excited about that. Actually, now that we've talked a bit more about what it is, I'm not so sure if I want Violet anymore, but everyone else is getting Scarlet, so I guess I'll get Violet.
I'm going to get Violet with you. Just because I want the Tyranitar.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting Scarlet. Mikey's getting Violet. So then you guys are going to get Violet.
So Violet has...
the
which
future
legendaries?
Pokemon.
So, okay, I just want to make sure. Tyranitar is in Violet, correct?
Yes.
But I swear it was the red legendary. I know even it's supposed to be Scarlet, right? Is it the opposite?
Nope.
No?
Nope. Violet has all the future Pokemon.
Yeah, but I swear I saw Tyranitar with the red. No?
So, sadly, no. It's been
Unfortunately,
kind of confirmed at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, shit, guys, I think that might do it here for us at the Men of Zen. Do you have anything else you want to add before we do our closing?
Watch Super Crooks. It's only 13 episodes. It is fantastic.
I will second that motion. You absolutely should. And you too, Aiden. I know you didn't watch all of it, but this show is so good. It took me by surprise. Actually, another one that I really want to do at some point in the future, another anime that was a Netflix exclusive called I think it's The Great Pretender?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, man. I love the shit out of that. It's another heist kind of... Oh, okay, so this one's a little different premise. There's no superpowers, nothing like that, but it is a beautifully drawn anime about a guy that is a con man, and he's like the world's best con man. It's fucking amazing. You've got to watch that show. But yeah, definitely check out Super Crooks 100%. And in the meanwhile, while you're doing that, check us out on all of our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc., yada, 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 at the Men of Zen. I want to thank Schminkadelic for the use of our intro and outro. You can check out more of his music on Apple Music and Spotify for Dance and Trance if you love to get down with that shit.
You want to get down with the dub? Check out Dubby at dubby.gg. Remember, use that 10% off code Men of Zen for 10% off your order.
Yep. Get yourself a dub with Dubby. Dude,
Don't be a dummy. Get a Dubby.
get a Dubby. Are you sick of all those Overwatch fucks crushing your payload and pushing your robot? Are you tired of them getting the dub? Get yourself a dub with Dubby.
You know who else drinks Dubby?
My mom! Thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. Once again, this has been the Men of Zen. My name is Brent.
I'm Phil.
And I'm Aiden.
Everybody stay the fuck zen.